Rob Ford says he has nothing left to hide. He's admitted to using crack, being in a drunken stupor, and he's apologized.
All this a week after more than 400 pages of police documents were released showing the mayor on surveillance video.
CBC's investigative reporter John Lancaster has been following this scandal since word of a crack video broke 6 months ago, and he tells us why Ford may not be telling the whole story.
He's not resigning.
These mistakes will never, ever, ever happen again.
It came on a day where the mayor made more than one surprise announcement.
You asked me a question back in May, and you can repeat that question.
For months, he denied it. Today, he admitted it.
Yes, I have smoked crack cocaine. But no, do I? Am I an addict? No. Have I tried it? Probably in one of my drunken stupors, probably approximately about a year ago.
Still maintaining it was all a
I'd
shock.
like to see this tape. I don't even recall there being a tape and a video, and I know that, so I want to see the state that I was in.
As the facts emerge and court documents are revealed, it's possible the mayor did know all along. His best friend, Sandro Lisi, is accused of extorting the men who had the video. We also know police say it was shot inside this home on Windsor Road in Etobicoke. Ford's friend, Fabio Basso, lives there. Sources have told CBC News that Basso's voice is believed to be on the crack tape. And according to documents released last week, police suspected the mayor may have been helping to keep the lights and water running at what they say is that crack house.
I do not use crack cocaine, nor am I an addict of crack cocaine. As for a video, I cannot comment on a video that I have never seen or does not exist.
As we've reported, there was a series of calls and texts between the mayor and Lisi the night the crack video broke. Lisi also contacted Mohammed Syed, the man who was allegedly selling the video. Ever since, the Fords have maintained there was no crack video or crack use.
I asked my brother 3 times, do you have an issue? Have you ever done crack cocaine? He answered me 3 times, no.
That's exactly.
Today, the mayor maintained he always spoke the truth.
So I wasn't lying. You didn't ask the correct questions. No, I'm not an addict. And no, I do not do drugs.
Up until now, it was the mayor's drug use that was being questioned. Now, as the facts are revealed, it's his credibility that's being questioned, too.
And I'm so sorry.
What the mayor seems to be banking, today's apology will put all of it behind him. It's not just the public that still appear to have a lot of questions. So, too, do the police. And the mayor said today he will not take part in part of that ongoing police probe and will not be interviewed.
Now, John, as you said in that piece, there's a lot we still don't know. Let's bring in defense lawyer John Struthers. You've been involved in the Anthony Smith murder case, which was Anthony was in the famous photo with our mayor. Interviewed you lots of times over the years. You have a lot of experience. Why isn't the mayor charged legally here? What's happening with that?
Well, simple possession of crack cocaine can be prosecuted after 6 months only by indictment, which is the most serious prosecutorial stream. It's unlikely they would do that because, frankly, for this quantity of crack cocaine, they would almost always proceed summarily, and there's almost a statute of limitations of 6 months in that respect. He's also said, I believe I smoked crack cocaine, I probably smoked crack cocaine, I was drunk, I don't know what I was smoking.
Drunken stupor, he says he was in.
And so at the end of the day, without having the substance to test as cocaine, you know, his lawyer could let him sit there, say nothing, and say, well, they haven't proved it really was cocaine, and there might be a reasonable doubt. So there's 2 tests. Is he going to be charged? Unlikely. Could he be convicted? Even more unlikely.
Where else possibly then could police take this? Could this possibly be part of a bigger investigation?
I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think the problem here that people are sort of missing is, all right, he finally got caught, the video's finally out. But remember now, this video was in play long before he admitted anything about this. And the question we really have to ask is, was he being extorted? Was he being blackmailed over this video? Apparently, some people went looking for it. That's the theory of Mr. Lisi's charge, and perhaps weren't very polite about the way they went about it. The question really is, if you were being extorted for a crack video, and people were taking advantage of you and perhaps asking for large sums of money, you didn't report that to the police. You took the matters into your own hands, and things after that went sideways, as they say.
Is the crux of this case now hang on Lisi and whether or not he says something about what was going on, because he has the inside information.
Well, of course, the question is going to be, why were you doing this, Mr. Lisi? And if at some point he defends himself in a court of law and gets into the box and testifies about what was going on, he will be asked, why were you doing this? You weren't in the video. You must have had an interest in it. You're obviously 300 phone calls or what it is with the mayor over this period of time. What was he telling you? And that's the real question, because at this point, the only person who had everything to lose in this case was the mayor of the city of Toronto. And it appears that people were looking for this video in various apartments and all over the city. For him to say he didn't know there was a video that existed, people are looking for a vapor, I guess, right?
John, what happens now? Let me just throw a question in there. The mayor has emphatically said he wants this video put out there. Is that going to be possible given the serious criminal charges still facing Mr. Lisi? How will that affect his trial, and will media lawyers, do you think, be successful? If this was your client, what would you be thinking?
Well, here's the problem. When the police originally get the evidence, they often have a desk full of guns and drugs and, pictures of, and they attack all sorts of people with their evidence. So here's what we've got. But then they pass it over to the Crown Attorney for prosecution. So it then leaves their control. And at what point the Crown takes over the prosecution is sort of a nebulous area. The Crown's saying they're not going to release it because, of course, it may somehow prejudice Mr. Lisi's trial. I can't see how that's possible. Mr. Lisi isn't in the video. There'd be another issue, which is privacy concerns. If you had someone in a video that didn't want it released. But now the mayor's saying, I want it out there. So the privacy interest isn't an issue. The prejudice is very minimal. And there's a strong, is there or not, public interest in having this thing put to rest. Finally and awfully after what's going on today. Let's get it over with one way or the other. So frankly, I think the public interest calls for it to be released. And his lawyer's saying that. He's saying that. Let's see what's on that. Because the problem may be more not the smoking, but the racist and homophobic remarks that are reported by the Star. Yes. They may be even worse.
All right, John Struthers, thank you for joining us, and we appreciate your insights.
Nice to see you, Dwight.